As you can see, I'm in a wheelchair. 23 years ago, I was married and had a 5-year-old little girl and bought a house in Mount Orab and just led my life like anyone else. And I had been saved, but I was not walking the walk I should have been walking, just like anyone else. If you're, oh, I go to church and I've been saved, so I could just do what I want to do. And, well, one day going to work, my life changed forever, and I was in a car accident. Left me initially paralyzed from the neck down, and try to make this condensed here. But over 7 years, period, the first 7 years, my husband didn't believe in sickness and health, and over a period of mental abuse and his drug use and several affairs, and he just walked out on my daughter and I, and we lost our home. We lost everything we had, and ended up in low-income housing filled with drugs. My daughter lost everything. She was 11. And so here I was battling all of this, and then she became with the wrong crowd and rebellious, and I was doing this alone. And I became very sick. And 2 years after that, it's just 9 years after my accident, I became full of double pneumonia, MRSA inside and out. I went down to 81 pounds. And I ended up in a coma, and my mother had to come from Florida and have a trach put in. And my testimony mainly is what happened to me in that coma. I remembered exactly. I did not die, but I knew I was dying. And when it was drowning, I was in this cold, deep, dark water, and it was terrifying. I couldn't explain enough how terrifying this was. And just the waves were surrounding me, and it was just darker and darker. And I reached out to God. And I didn't reach out for me, I reached out for my daughter. And I said, please, please, God, don't take me yet. I know you're taking me, please not yet. My job is not done yet. My daughter needs me. There's no one else here for her. Please let me just raise her, and I will do what you want. I will be what you want, and you can take me when my job is done. And so I just screamed out, Jesus, save me, save me. And I saw his hand, and his hand reached and grabbed my wrist, and he pulled me out of that water. And that was when I woke from my coma. And thank you. And people can say, I've heard people tell me that, well, people say dreams in their comas, they have this or that. And I say this to people, and I hope you hear what I say. But you know what? I know what happened to me, and I don't need anyone to tell me. But what had happened was, when I woke up, all I could see was people surrounding me and just little slits because I was so contagious. But it was my father, and he said, well, you know what? He said, you're going to be an event the rest of your life in a facility. And I don't know what you're going to do with your daughter, but we didn't sign up for this. And they were gone. I was alone. Found I was evicted from my apartment. My stuff was going to be put out on the street, and they were taking my daughter away. And they put a speaker on my trach, and I looked at the doctor and said, no, you are not. That's not what God wants for me. I said, I'm going to have this thing kept off. I'm going to have a nice place to live, and I'm going to have my daughter back. Yes. And within 3 months, I had a nice apartment. My trach was capped because I had what's called tracheal stenosis. That's what they had to put a trach in. It's a narrowing of your trachea, and you would know, and scar tissue and all that. For a year, I had a trach just capped off because ENT kept telling me, you're fine, I don't know why you have this in. I did not realize when I came out of that coma, he healed it. Do you see a trach? No, there's nothing here. It's gone. It doesn't just go away by itself. Your trach doesn't just open up and scar tissue go away. So it is healed. But I found all that for my daughter, and I just want to tell you all that if you're drowning and you don't know where to turn, cry out for Christ. Because you know what? He's going to pull you out of that water. Yes. So scream for him, and he will save you. And real quick, before I finish, today I had a God wink. Because as I was doing my little Bible study, my daily bread, and reading my thing, I also said a prayer and said, Lord, let me say the things I need to say tonight. Help me to reach out to someone, and, what do you want me to say? And as I was reading my thing, it told me to read 2 Samuel chapter 22. So this is almost scary, okay? Because I'm reading it, and here's exactly what it said. No lie, I swear it's true. He reached down from on high and took hold of me and drew me out of deep waters. Yes. He rescued me from my powerful enemy, from my foes who were too strong for me. They confronted me in the day of my disaster, but the Lord is my support. He brought me out into a spacious place. He rescued me because he delighted in me.